Buster. I'm happy.
No, I love it, y'all. My name is Alex, and I am with the Healthy Design Podcast. Y'all, welcome back. I have an amazing soul. I am super excited to introduce to you Miss Sherry. She is an international best-selling author, professional speaker, former radio host of Conscious Healing, and contributing writer to national and international publications on the subject of an Shara. Am I saying that right? An Anshara method. Okay, method of accelerated healing and abundance. She is a medical intuitive with the foundation, or who has the foundations of her groundbreaking research on cellular memory and what she calls the Anshara method. Y'all, she literally heals you at your cellular level. This is what I love to talk about. This is my thing. So I am super excited to welcome Miss Sherry. My dear, how are you today?
Thank you. And I'm so delighted to be here today. So we're just going to have fun, support people to heal
Yeah.
themselves, and provide great information that works.
Right. And I already have a feeling we're going to be coming back, Miss Sherry. You're like a wealth of information. I've got like today's topic segregated because, we could seriously spend hours talking on this. And so we're going to call this episode 1. If Miss Sherry will have us back later on, because I want to get into what is going on. What is going on? This Matrix, we're like, that's like the best way I can describe it. And it's funny because I've literally never seen the Matrix movies, but it's what I can associate with what we're living in. And, share your thoughts, share your ideas and words of wisdom about this, please.
Well, it might be shocking to some people, but it isn't to me. So actually, I'm going to do an outrageous promotion. But the end of January, I'm actually going to have my new book out, and
Yeah.
it's called Busting Out of the Matrix to Freedom.
Yes.
So, what I'm sharing with you, and I've been teaching it for well over 30 years in this method that I created, but what's going on in the matrix, which we are in what I call duality. And I've been teaching non duality for over 30 years and more.
So hold on really quick. What is duality? In your
It's,
opinion, in your words.
oh, I will tell you clearly. So, I'm going to ask you this. We all have belief systems, correct?
Yes.
What's the first letter of the word belief?
B.
And the first letter of the word system.
Yes.
Duality
Yes.
is all bullshit.
It
And that
is.
and it's programmed by the controllers, the con of the troll, and through the left computer brain. And I teach it in the physicality. See, emotional, mental, physical, spiritual, financial. Those 5 words mean the same thing. What's the cost to us when we buy into this bullshit? And we have for eons. So I'm a BS buster. Though I'm called a medical intuitive, though I'm called an intuitive business coach, I'm a bullshit buster.
Yeah.
So what happens in the matrix is the matrix is boxes, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So we are assigned labels. And and I'm not against like female and male or any of that, but the labels are you're not good enough. You know what? You are just not good enough. You're not smart enough, or you're a girl, or you're this. Here's an example. When I was 30, like eons ago, I told my mother and older sister I was going to learn how to fly an airplane. And they said, well, number one, you're a girl. Really? When did you notice? You know, and,
Okay.
and you're too old. So not only did I learn to fly, I bought an airplane. And so people would say, how'd you do that? How do you buy a car? You put so much down once a month to get a bill. It's just how it works, unless you have the money to pay for it. But the fact is, in duality, there are no facts.
Right.
So here's an example of duality. We are taught, and this drives me crazy. We are taught that fear is false evidence appearing real. Whoever came up with this, I'm going to smack them over the head. I'm going to smack them upside the head. So fear is not false evidence unless you're on investigative discovery and you're going to frame somebody for murder or a crime. That is ridiculous. I don't know where they came up with this crap. Or it's, get the whatever and run. Fear is lack of correct information. Correct information. So, as a wordologist, and I teach wordology as your biology,
Yeah.
information means in form, a form at your ion or cellular level. So, if that form says, you know what, you're not good enough, you're not smart enough, you can't fly an airplane, you can't do this, Then that's programmed to the left computer brain that goes to the male side. Recreate, recreate, recreate,
Yes.
and recreate. Unless you love it, it's boring. So, though I've had 5 near-death experiences, those were my in and out burgers to the multiversities. It's ridiculous in our idea that we were born to die. No, we weren't. Even though I had 5 near, those are my little trips. I call them, I'm an in and out burger. I'm in, I'm out. But the fact is, how many of you, including you, are in the audience, have never felt like they belonged here?
Oh, absolutely. And I want to back up for just a second because I love when you mentioned this to me. I like this is when I fell in love with you because of the way you break down the words and seriously like literally when you start to actually break it down and I learned this when I was studying for my GRE and I had to do that aspect of the test and study for it. I had to really learn, well, what is it that I'm actually asking? What is it that I'm supposed to be gaining or understanding? You know what I mean? Because it's the wordology. I'm like, it was so frustrating. And when I first started testing or studying for it, I'm like, this is ridiculous. What you, so frustrated. And until I got back down to those pieces. And it's so true because it does interact with how it is our cells, our creation, how we not manifest, but how we shift in the energy using our body in that just literal state that we are creating. And it changed my whole view on like everything when I started to break it down. And then of course it just ignited into this total chaotic shitstorm, excuse my language, because then I
I
started
love it.
waking up in like masses and I was like, oh my God, it's everywhere. How do we get out of this? And
And
then
that's
you,
what I teach. This is
yes,
what I
exactly.
teach.
Yes. And then you come on and you're like, I actually just wrote a book about this. And I'm like, yes, I love the synchronicity. Because
Yes,
it,
and I have many books that led up to this. And so I have always questioned. Question means the quest at your ion or cellular level. But these are the questions that we ask our alt left computer brain to the right male side. Recreate, recreate, recreate. And I'm going to give you a tip out of my book. What is this? Infinity, right?
right.
Bullshit, 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 bullshit. Do over, do over, do over. Example, Elizabeth Taylor, I didn't say her name, married the same guy 8 times. And 4 of her best friends were gay, all the same profiles. So I teach the profiles and the behaviors and roles. So what is this? A hourglass. Duality hourglass. Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. Do it over, do it over. Do the war, do the war. Do the king, do the queen, do the leader, do the follower.
Hierarchies.
Bullshit. So
Yeah.
now we're going to take the hourglass, and I have this in my new book. So I'm giving you tips to get out of duality. So if you take this, uh, the hourglass, and you extend it down 3 times into third dimension that we live in, here's 1, 2, 3. Get
Right.
down here and you turn it. It's the DNA. Our DNA is programmed with duality. And
That's
so,
insane. I
oh
didn't
my,
even
I'm
think about
giving
that.
you information that has never been out. And it's so exciting because see, I knew this stuff at 3. And believe me, and I have to tell you, I am totally open. I'm 78. And I'm going like, so what? So we were raised, we were born to die. Well, you know what? I did it. It's no big deal. What the big deal is staying here and being our own truth. So when I was 3 years old, I said outrageous stuff. I said to my mother, how come the lights around kids is big? How come the lights around big people is little? That was an aura. We didn't have or electromagnetic or by, you know what? It's just called the field. Get over it. It's just your field. So what you send out is what you get back. It's not the law of attraction. It's the law of distraction. That's duality. And we get distracted,
Yeah. Squirrel.
isn't it? And so I like to be called the teacher of the unlearning. And so in the 7 old chakra system, which is duality, and I teach beyond that, 13, even more than that. So this is our crown, correct?
Right.
And down here in the patootie is the first chakra. And
Right.
people wonder why they have back problems because if your head's up your patootie, no wonder you have back problems.
Right.
Yeah.
No, and I mean that's so it's oh my gosh. Yes. It's absolutely amazing what you've been coming out with. Thank you for that little tidbit, because it's like every time I talk to you, I swear my mind is blown, because it's like you bring such facts, you bring such like just very easily digestible information for people to like really understand this. And that is like in my experience, just as teaching and doing my own work that I've done, is the podcast is just like that extra perk to one more thing, right? And it was to really, how do I break this down as the most informative piece of information that is digestible for about a third grader, and making it creative and colorful and engaging. And that is exactly what you do, because you make it to this ability to learn from you. And I'm so thankful for you. So I have a quick question for your near death experiences and all of that stuff. People talk about, like, because you're obviously very in tune, you very much understand the like all the things in the universe, right? More than most. But it's like I've heard so much personally where it's like NDEs will do that to someone. Speaking to your experience, do you think that had any impact? And if so, into what calibers? Because you had five trips. You said you go in and out, that's why you call it In-N-Out Burger, because it's just coming sliding in and out of major, like, I don't even know what to call that. What do we call that? Like that you slip into when you
Well,
did that?
I did it on purpose because it wasn't, but though I had accidents, I created them. See, I teach people actually how to be God. Oh, Godness, the essence of God. So, and then I'll get into that. So and I even have charts. I have charts. I am telling you, I am just so really, you created charts on how to be God? Yes, the Godness. So it says in the books, if whatever they are, Buddha, Christian, whatever, that you're made in God's image. Why are we less? Why are we less? Image means I am at an age to expand. So why are we less? And even Jesus, nice guy. By the way, he was a Palladian. And so.
Honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if he genuinely, like, I've contemplated so much of that where it's like, I could actually see something like that being a legit thing. I'm just.
Yeah, exactly. So, people come in, you can call them teachers, but I call myself the teacher of modern learning. So what happens when we get so involved in all of that stuff, we give our power away. We give our power away. Here's another. I have a book on Amazon called Take Back Your Power, You Becoming You. And it's a handbook to begin to get out of duality. And I have another book from 2008 called And the Point Is Beyond Duality. So let's go back to these. So we are taught to be less, that we have to bow down to some God outside of ourselves. But it's all about, so as we go through this, and we'll get through all the questions, but the point is, it's all about resonance. Mm-hmm. Resonance is the key. Frequency and vibration are byproducts. So if I'm resonating to be an asshole, then that's what I'm projecting through my field. And then I attract assholes, and we just conglomerate together. And actually, I'm creating a new planet for people who don't like to be conscious. It's called Assholia.
That's amazing. I've got to connect you with someone. Remind me after this too, because
but to be more conscious. So I'm actually teaching people now, or giving them the information of how to create the new earth here.
Right.
It's all about resonance, and duality cannot be a part of this. So I'm giving you information that normally, I would now. I'm just an open. I have no more reservations. I'm saying it like it is because I know it's the truth. So let's go back to my first near-death experience. So I was 3 years old. And I know I even selected my mother. It was about resonance. So this will crack you up. My mother was basically Finnish. The Finnish language is not a language of this planet.
What?
So,
I swear that it was.
It has no like Latin root or Germanic root or whatever. And there's another one, but I can't remember if it's Romanian or whatever. But that's why I picked her, for resonance. So now I know that's what I do. I'm blowing people.
Sorry, but you just like blew my mind. I was like, wait a minute. There's not? I always thought there was. And okay, sorry, continue. You just blew my mind for a second.
By the way, I'm going to throw this out here. Do not give your power away to extraterrestrials. There's nothing freaking extra about them. They just had better technology. Yeah. Is that stupid?
I have a relationship with one where I definitely connect with one particular female from the Andromeda system, but it never feels like I'm giving my power away. It's usually like something is going on or I'm doing something and I get like this pull and I never follow the systems, but I always get this pull to look up. I pull my phone out. It's always the Andromeda and it feels like someone's giving me this big hug.
Well, I actually had an Andromedan stop by and is moved in with me, and
Oh,
so
I'm so jealous.
but I really I'm in touch with over
I'm
60.
serious.
Really, we will talk. So I'm in touch with over 60 races of people outside this universe. Non-duality. I'm a snob. I am a snob. If it's dual, I mean, I like the Pleiadians. I'm going to give you a little tip here too. I'm actually right now, I have 8,000 words written. I got about 200,000 to go, but I am writing a book about the history of the duality universe in this planet. And I'm giving the history of all the different races
Oh, that's so cool.
that it will blow people's pop stands. But so now I'll go back to 3 years old. So I'm 3 years old, and this is like in ancient times. George Washington, I think, was alive. But anyway, so I would say so. This is what I said to my mother. I said, "Do you remember when I was Jewish and lived in New York?" She goes, "We're Catholic. We live in Detroit." I said, "What?" So I would drive her crazy. So I would say all these things, and this is one of my favorite. And at 3, believe it or not, I had an incredible vocabulary because I was raised by 3 teenagers. So I could write and print and read when I went to kindergarten.
That's so
Which
crazy.
was, I mean, I had an incredible, see, I thought it was a teenager. So I had their language, their lingo, and they were wonderful. They took me on dates with them. They didn't have to, but they would hang out, like in groups, and I would cart me around. Why, I don't know. So I thought I was one of them. But so I remember saying to my mother once, how come the people I see that you can't see make more sense to me than the people we see? Because they don't make any sense to me. And she's like, what? I thought she was going to go Hail Mary, full of grace, whatever, not long,
Right?
real, because she didn't know what to do. And
Yeah.
so she just sort of let it be because she didn't know. So we are all multidimensional. So at 3 years old, I said, that's it. I'm taking myself out. All illness is emotional. All of it. I don't care. And I've actually co-authored a book with Sharon Wyatt that's coming out. And I label, or not label, but I defined at your eye level, all the emotional issues in the tissues that are emotional. So anyway, so I said, I just can't be here. This is the dumbest damn thing I ever did.
Yeah.
So I took myself out because I couldn't breathe. So I'm in the hospital. It's about 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'm in an oxygen tent. That's what they did in the olden days. And so my dad is talking to my mother, and I remember it clearly. I have real clear memory, even being in my mother's womb going, I got to get the heck out of here. I was a preemie. I'm not kidding you. I'm not making this shit
Mm,
up. No,
that's so
so,
funny.
but I heard my dad say, she's going to be okay. So I'm sitting in the Buddha position, this, little 3-year-old, and one of my friends, from outside this place is in the room. Of course, my parents can't see the person, and says, her name is Bashi Bar Metafista, and she said, Sherry, you're not going to die. Now I'm 3 years old. I'm going, this just isn't working for me. I got to get out of here. So I shut my lungs down because I couldn't breathe into life. So that is asthma, bronchitis, all of the heart issue of breathing into life. So I created that. But I knew that I had to stay. And I when I remember going out at 3, going, I just can't go back there. This is just not working for me. But then I did, and then I was out of the hospital. And so my second near death was I got married. I did. So let me tell you this, listen to your children. So I was little and I said, I don't want to get married and I don't want to have kids. I love kids and I love guys. It has nothing to do with that. I just was looking to have more of a freer experience.
Yeah.
So I got married. I had to, wasn't pregnant, but I had to get married because that's what you did then.
Mhm.
And so I work in the unconscious. Subconscious is here. This is psychiatry and psychology. Do over, keep repeating the story and making you sicker and sicker. So I work in here. So it said, in sickness and in health till death do you part. So I ruined a beautiful 1965 Corvette. Got smashed, got hit twice, went through a cement block wall. And I remember being out going, I made it. I made it. Oh my God, hallelujah. Boom. The next thing you know, I am, this is in Michigan. It was a snowy day, and I'm laying in the snow. This is the truth. I actually got out of the car by myself, even though this is, fiberglass car, up to the windshield. I went under a person's house through there's a cement block wall. And so, which became part of what I wrote in my first book, and it's in Take Back Your Power, getting through the block wall here, here at your solar plexus. So I was collecting data. And so I'm laying in the snow. You've got to appreciate this. And I open my eyes, and there's this clear blue, beautiful winter sky in Michigan. It was gorgeous. And I could feel somebody holding me. And so I'm laying there and I move my eyes. And I thought, if that's an angel, she's butt ugly. That was one of my neighbors who heard the crash and ran over and saw me get out of the car, even though I was half in and half out. And then I just fell over in the snow. But isn't that funny? And I'm laying, because I can't help it. I have a weird sense of humor. And I'm going, that is a butt ugly angel. No, it was my neighbor. And then they called the ambulance and all that stuff. Isn't that? So that was my second.
Cool. You just gave me major chills when you were talking about that, like a handful of times, like my whole body was like vibrating from like the back of my head down.
Because
Whoa.
that's the truth bumps. And so I, made a change and whatever. Though I was married a long time, but I had to do something different. And then I was married, and then I did all kinds of stuff. It's not worth it because I created so much stuff. But in 1991, I was on a business trip. And I ended up in Connecticut visiting someone from high school that I met on a business trip. I ended up 15 feet underwater, upside down in the Connecticut River, in this drunk's car, helping. I don't help. I assist you people, but I'm not helping you, because helping was at my expense. So I helping her, right? The fixer. By the way, you're not freaking tubes of crazy glue. You can't fix anybody. So I come up out of the drink with a broken neck and a smashed head, and I had like breaks, fractures in my back, and my brain's out of place, but I don't know that at the time. And so I am a mess, and I'm going, oh my God. So through make a boring story short, I'm laying in the hospital, and I look at my right arm, which is pretty good considering the mess I'm in, and I thought, you know what, I'm just laying there contemplating, if I cut my arm, it's going to heal itself. Whether I put antibiotics, and sometimes there'll be a scar and sometimes there won't. And so I go, there has to be something smarter in the body, in this brain. Now my brain's out of place, but I don't even know it at the time. Because it's not we keep recreating this crap. And so what happens is two words, cellular memory. And I went, cellular memory. And so with the dire predictions that would be, I go, this is bullshit. And so I called a cab, discharged myself from the hospital, went to Hartford, Connecticut, and flew back to Michigan where I lived. And they're going, you can't do this. I go, I already did. And they said, well, we're not through with you in the hospital. I said, well, I'm through. But you're a mess. I know it, but I got to get out of this. I created the mess. Yeah. And so I went home, and then that began even the more expansion of the multiverse.
Okay, and so, hold on. So take this back. So this is now your second near-death experience. Third. I'm sorry. Okay, third one. And so now you're fully able, and was it like a download? Because that's another thing that I know is different about this, because so you're receiving the information. How would you describe that? Because there's a lot of things that I see with all of the different spiritualities and stuff, and channeling and stuff, and how that works. How did you understand that information?
I comprehended it, because knowing and understanding isn't enough. And in the new book I'm writing, I'm breaking all the BS about channeling. I'm not wronging it, but this is in the new book that hasn't even been done yet. I'm just writing it. So all this information became pouring out of me, because we're all multiverses. We have many voices inside. The voice in your head are people's voices. They're not yours. But the real voices inside are yours. And I begin to listen. This is where we listen. This is where we heary. And so I show, teach, whatever the word it is,
Right.
how to listen. And when you listen, you get information.
So
So
quick question. So whenever I do like my visualizations, I literally can like see like a outline of a person's body, but it's like right here from like your throat to like your right at your solar plexus is like this giant golden like strand. And that's where I see the most power coming from.
it
Is
is.
that something that, so is that like actually what it looks like? Because I've never looked it up. That's just what I see.
It's you. You're seeing yourself.
Okay.
You're seeing yourself. I even have energetic connections and I have graphics that I've designed about what does it mean energetically and physically. See, energy is a byproduct. That's all it is. It's a byproduct of either being conscious or being dualistic. So I'm not dualistic. I'm not. What I teach is what I live, and what I do is what I live, and what I share and teach, or whatever you want to call it, sharing or teaching. So what you're doing is you are connecting. By the way, there's no higher self and lower self. That's bullshit of duality.
Right.
It's yourself, but it's your multidimensional self that you're connecting to.
So then
Isn't
would
that?
that be able to say like, so it's like your expanded consciousness basically.
Yes, it's your expanded consciousness beyond duality. And I'll give you an example. Wherever I go, I send out this vibe. Ask me anything. Not like I know everything, but and my friends get wherever I go, people come up to me in the grocery store, in a restaurant. They've even asked me for my card, and I don't even know what their name is, or they don't know mine. But they'll say there's something, it happens all the time because I put it out. And the people that will resonate, I even
Mhm.
get hugs at Sprouts from strangers. People will come up and start talking to me and go, "Can I hug you?" Of course, I teach them heart hugs. I do heart hugs. I don't do this way, I do heart hugs.
Yeah.
And it's just amazing, and some people do, and some, because you are the gift. You're all gift, but you're the gift. And you are beginning in this expansion out of the matrix, out of duality, is to connect who you are. And
Yes.
when you are connected to your expanse, see, there is no past, present, and future. That's a duality idea. It's only the moment. So when you are in the moment, that is called how you, this, I'll teach you how to be God today. Is that okay?
Yes, please. All the things. I love listening to you talk. You're just so mind blowing. I love you so
Yeah,
much.
I love it. So we create through our female,
Right.
we organize the creation through our right brain, create, organize through your body. You implement the
Right.
body of Christ, which isn't about Jesus. Christ in Greek means crystal clear, or Messiah. You better save yourself from the bullshit that's in that first shaman chakra system. So
Right.
you create, organize, or implement. Then you organize what you're going to manifest or manufacture instead of manipulate. And then through your hands, through your heart, is what you actualize. So here, can I show you an example?
Yes, please.
Okay. So I love this Mountain Valley water. I get it at Sprouts and they get it from me by the case because I love it. And I have my supplements in here. So let's say I am the creator of this bottle of this stuff inside the water. Okay. So I'm going to create this. So I have an idea, create. Then I organize the creation, the template, whatever it's, the template, the schematic drawing, whatever it is. So now I am creating and I'm organizing it through my right creative brain, that my idea is it's going to be a bottle and it's going to be called Mountain Valley. And this gal that buys it, called Sherry Ann Shar, she puts her vitamins in it. So somebody created, they organized it. So now the implementation. This is how you create wealth. It doesn't matter what it is, whatever you're creating. So now I'm going to send out a purchase order to a bottling company.
Mhm.
Then I'm going to send out to a water that has really good resonance to it. And then I'm going to find the packager that it comes in, the boxes. I'm going to have a graphic artist who's going to do this. I'm going to have somebody do a website for me. I'm just making this up. And so now I'm sending out purchase orders. And so that money is going to pay their employees, and then they feed their families, and they educate their kids. So
Right.
now I'm implementing. So now it all comes back to me, right? So it comes back. So now I'm going to organize. the manufacturing of it because I have all the parts. So
Right.
I manufacture. And now through my heart, through my hands, the actualization, I now sell this wholesale or retail.
Like
It
you
doesn't
literally,
matter. It doesn't matter if it's a glass case or a bottle of this, or here's my organizer for 2022.
yeah.
So you cannot not create. It's impossible. So when someone says to me, "How did I create that?" Because your head was up your asses and you weren't using your assets. So now we're going to take your head out of your patootie and we're going to see clearly. Because and people say, "Well, my life looks like shit." It's because your head's up your patootie. That's why it looks like shit. So let's clear it out. So I make it practical and comprehensible.
That's amazing.
And it doesn't matter if it's here's I tell my clients, do you know that you create a relationship, you create an experience, you create a situation, a relationship, whatever it is, a product, and you create a fart. What? Well, if you say I'm going to eat this food and it gives me gas, you just created a fart. Like get over yourself.
Yeah.
You cannot not create. It's impossible. You created this podcast. You created our conversation, and I'm so delightful and delighted to have this with you.
Yes, likewise. And then we also give creation to it igniting people, our viewers who are watching this, and then they're gaining all like this isn't just going to stay between you and I. Like this is going to be seen by millions, and people are going to be engaging and learning and activating and downloading and gathering their own cellular memory, being activated by this. So like your wisdom, and I'm so grateful you came on because I love this. I love how you are really just breaking it down in such a simple way. It's this factual, it's simplistic, it's easily digestible, and like people can really utilize how you mean what it is you're teaching. I love it. It's so beautiful. Um,
Thank you. I'm just delighted. Can I show you an example?
yeah.
Okay, these are 9 years ago, and these are blood cells. See how sick these blood cells are?
Vicky.
This is all and they're like, oh, and this is a client, and she was 100 pounds overweight. She was a mess. I mean, emotionally a mess. Unbelievable. 3 months later, and see, her doctor sent these to me, and I got published in a medical journal. I don't have a medical background, but I know the body, and I love teaching you to know your body. This was 3 months later. These are perfect blood cells. No meds, no supplements, no nothing. Just this is duality bullshit, and this is consciousness, and these are the cells, and they're happy, healthy cells. And
That's
her
amazing.
mantra is, "I have happy, healthy cells. I have happy, healthy cells." And I say it to my body all the time.
That's so amazing. I love that. Like oh, y'all hold those up again.
Duality bullshit. This is the
So
matrix.
look at this. They're all sticky and they're like clumped and they're just like matted up. And y'all, if you are feeling that way in your like just even looking at that, I'm just like, oh, I don't like
Ugh.
you. It just that's just like such an icky resonance. And then that it just like makes like my heart happy. And it's that resonance, like how nice they're looking. They're beautifully shaped and they're not sticking together all clumped up.
Let me show you this. This is a picture of a gal, and this, I'll take this out. This is her leg. She had diabetes, this was diabetes in her leg. Let me see if I can get this one out. I don't know if it's too shiny here. Let's see. See her leg? And then we're
Wow.
going to amputate.
Right, that looks like gangrene.
It is. And
Oh,
this is her leg with me. These are her legs in 4 1-hour sessions,
wow.
and saved her leg.
That's insane.
No, that's how smart. And
No,
this
I
is
know, I
what
mean, it is, but it's just like for like, you know what I mean? Like how just amazingly active it is. And it's like I see that in like my life. And I actually was literally just thinking about what you said earlier a few days ago, like just
see that.
taking
That's a gal, and that's cancer. This is cancer. I'm not gonna show her.
that's
That's
tumor
cancer.
on her
Okay,
neck, right?
that is cancer. And
Okay.
this is, and let me show you. And this is what she looked like full on. That's cancer. See that?
Yeah, that tumor.
Oh, isn't that awful? Now let me show you. This is 4 days later. This is 4 days later. And this is how smart the body is. The body is so smart. Look, 4 days later.
Wow, that looks like a small little golf ball in comparison.
And that was only in 4 days. That was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8 1-hour sessions in 4 days.
Okay, so 2 a
4
day.
days, and in all the hours. Isn't that amazing? And this one I can show you. This was one of my clients. Look at her. Couldn't see. They did all the tests. They did everything. And this is how she looks.
So all that puffiness, yeah, it looks like she was almost like an allergic reaction to something is kind of what it looks like.
It's called emotional. It's called she was wife number 5 with 6 1 in the wing.
Yeah, I can see that. Okay. That makes sense.
We became friends and she's wonderful. Yeah. But you see, that's the emotionality of whatever it is. The diabetes is life is sour. And that's what it is. There's diabetes in my family. My mom had it and went blind and all that. But it wasn't because she had a bad life, but it's how we process it. And so I teach people how, or empower them, whatever it means, that it's a progressive process. So people say, well, it takes a long time to heal. No, it doesn't. This is what healing is. And actually, I'm not a healer. Healing is addressing the issues in the tissues. That's all it is.
Yeah.
And when you find out the origination, so my Anshara method, or the AHA method, is that when you get the AHA, then you know the core. And you don't have to continue it. But if you like being sick, then it's okay. So my clients have gotten rid of stage 4 cancer. They've gotten rid of depression and anxiety. You know what anxiety is? Unrealistic expectations. That's it. It doesn't mean that I'm making fun of it or not making it relevant, but why hang on to it?
Was it the depression is staying in the past, anxiety is staying in the present, or excuse me, the future, and you're not staying present if you are in either of those worlds.
Mm-mm. And so depression is deepest disappointment. And so here's an example. I work with this gal, and I actually wrote an article, if anybody's interested. It's called Baby's First Connection. I wrote it about 5 years ago for a very famous baby doctor. It's called Baby's First Connection. If you email me, I'm happy to send it out. It's for a newsletter. And she delivered movie stars' babies and babies in India. So it didn't matter. And that's an article, Baby's First Connection. And so there was a gal that came to me, and she had spent, now this is what she told me, that she had spent over $200,000 over the years in therapy. They gave her shock treatments. They finally told her she was crazy because she was afraid of needles. Mm-hmm. And they said, this is a paranoia. It wasn't. So a friend of hers sent her to me in 1 hour. We got to the court. You know why she was afraid of needles? And I knew when she told me. So she was born in the late 50s, and that's how they aborted babies, with knitting needles. And they never got to it until she came. So it gave her the explanation, explained at her ion level. So now she could really healing isn't letting go of the crap. It's also keeping what serves you and expanding upon it. And now that she got the facts, what is fear? Lack of correct information. You got to get to the facts. And that just changed her life.
So I want to pause that for a second. You said with her, we had to get back to the facts to process this fear. Like, I just want to hold a moment for that, because that's so huge. And what I just honestly believe like everyone in humanity who has not done any inner shadow work has some shadow healing, something to deal with, because that's just where we're at right now. The human collective is able to start doing this. And so that's huge what you just said.
Yes, it is.
Like, this is why I love you. Look at this. I love you so much. It's so true. And it's, getting back to that core aspect of now I understand why I have the fear, why I have the self doubt, why I have the negative feelings, why I have the whatever you want to throw at it that is not of a very high vibrating energy scale, if you will. That's how we do this.
Yes, it's resonance.
Yeah.
And so I actually, because as an intuitive, whether you're on Zoom or over the phone or whatever, I actually can see inside people's bodies. So
Oh.
I know I have for years. It's just like, I can't walk up to people and go, boy, your liver is like sucks. No, I went through
You've been
that.
drinking.
Oh, yes, no, but whatever. But the fact is, your body is so intelligent. So this is what they go, well, how do they know? I go, when the sperm hits the egg, you're in a fully conscious being. The minute the sperm hits the egg, I'm not pro version or anti, I'm for life. Not pro, I'm for life. So the minute the sperm hits the egg, you're in. And we start memorizing a difference between the clear memory. So a toe cell knows to be a toe cell, and a nose cell knows to be a nose. Other way to have a fingernail at the end of the nose. So, and then we have to consider what the contracts are. The con of the tracks. I have no contracts with anybody, no one, but I
Yeah.
have agreements, and we can agree to disagree, which makes a complete difference. It takes the emotionality out of it.
Okay, so then when you're talking about no contracts, are you talking about something that everyone can do, or is this just something you're uniquely gifted at?
Everybody can do it. So
Okay,
this is
tell
what.
me how.
Yes. So you have to look at who's the profile, behavior, and role. So my first tool that I teach for years is NEO, non-emotional observer. That's how we're getting out of this grid. So when you observe, but you have to observe yourself first. So when you connect to that, and when you cancel the contract, you take people out of the labels.
Yeah.
So, someone doesn't have to, it's not that you're against your mother, your father, your sister, or whoever it is, or cousins or nieces and nephews. But when we have them in the box labeled that this is who you are, then it's really constricted. But
Mhm.
when you have an agreement, you can be person to person, connection to the connection. And I call that allness. Oneness is bullshit because it says we're all the same. That is bullshit. But allness is the uniqueness. The uniqueness. Now, we really didn't know each other, but don't you feel like you know me and I feel like I know you?
I do. I want to give you like the biggest hug too right now.
Yeah, well,
I
let's
want
do
to.
it. And so that is the allness. You're unique and I'm unique, but our uniqueness comes together in that allness through our heartness, the essence of our heart, the essence of all, and through connectedness, the essence of being connected. And that's what is the beginning of non duality, canceling the contracts, the con of the tracks. Get off that track.
Yeah, get off that railroad track that just keeps you on down the same path you've always been doing. Just keep on in line in your infinite little circle there, set of train tracks. And oh my gosh, this has been amazing. So we had your third NDE that seems to really just like open up this whole new world. And then your fourth and your fifth, like, okay, so now you're on this seemingly positive track, like, and you said you did it yourself. So like what happened?
Okay, so this is the medical model one. So I did not listen to my intuition. And so this doctor that I had at the time said, we've got to give you some tests and we would like to do iodine. I'm allergic to it. And it was for information, inform. So I'm looking at it. So I said, okay, so I'm in this clinic and they inject the dye. Boom. My body reacted, Act One, Scene Two. I was out of body completely. And so I'm smiling to myself. I thought, oh my God, this is an opportunity. I'm getting the hell out of here. And so this is the truth. It scared the shit out of the doctor. So I am up on the ceiling determining, should I just go all the way and get out? And he kept trying to push me down. My body kept trying to get up and he was pushing me down. So all of a sudden, this voice comes from the top of the ceiling. I'm not kidding you. I'm not making this up. And the nurse is in the room. And I said, stop pushing me down. And then my mouth moved. He was so scared. So they didn't know what to do. So he ran out of the room and they wheeled me in this area. And so I'm like floating around, going in the different rooms. I thought, what the hell? This is ridiculous. And I thought, you know what? I've just got to get back. So I finally get back in my body. And so now they're wheeling me out in this huge room full of patients. And I walk in and I said, it's like noon now. And I go, I came in at 8 o'clock. I died. And here I am. I'm back again. So good luck to all of you. And the nurse, I'm walking out. She goes, can I have your card? I'm not kidding you.
Those doctors probably, I don't even know, I can't even imagine what that whole medical shift was even thinking between everything. Like, I can just imagine being a doctor and trying to do that, and then all of that happening. I would be losing it.
He was, and when he heard my voice, and then my mouth moves down here, and he said, well, I don't always believe in anything I do. So I'm up on the ceiling going, then why in the hell are you a doctor? Why the hell are you a doctor? There was like a delay, it was hilarious. And I'm laughing my patootie off, even though I'm out of my body. And then the fifth one was, it was 4th of July. I was here alone. And so I fell and smashed my brain again. So I have had 3 injuries on my left brain. Remember, recreate. But it took me, so I call a friend of mine and they take me to the emergency room. I just am looking for facts. I wanted to make sure I didn't have a brain bleed. So they gave me the x-rays and whatever, and my face is swelling up. And the next day I did Facebook Live, like big deal. And so, and I'm all like, oh, I got bad. And so the doctors, 2 of them, and the nurses came in and they said, well, we don't know why you're still alive. And I said, well, then give me my clothes and I'm getting the hell out of here. So they did, but I have no brain bleed. So I walk out in the emergency room and this man is standing there smoking outside the hospital, right? And he looks at me and I said, yeah, you should see what my husband looks like.
What did he do?
He like went into panic. And my friend says, Sherry, why do you do these things? I go, I can't help it. But anyway, and so that was the last one. But I had to get my brain adjusted. And actually, I was studied at the University of Arizona in 2002. And I was studied there for a week. And this is hilarious. They said, you know what? You're a genius. And I go, and you guys are stupid. It's my cellular memory. My brain's out of place. And they loved it. Yeah. I go, so I'm in charge of my computer. This is a computer, but if we're only using half a brain, this is how I explain it. This is like a 286 computer attempting to download apps. It won't happen. So I actually have techniques that I teach people how to connect left brain, right brain.
And so is that found in your book? Where can they find these classes and that you're talking about where you're teaching this?
So if you go to my website, sherryanchara.com, if you sign up for my newsletter and download that free ebook, Getting Your Answers in 10 Minutes, then you can read all my just articles on my blog. But then when you sign up, and you have to accept that if you sign up that you're going to get them, I send out information. So can I do a promo here?
Absolutely. Hold on. I was trying to pull up your website. Can you spell it again?
It's sherryanchara.com. ANSHARA. And Sherry's like the wine, cherry wine. I don't drink.
Here on the screen. Yeah, I don't know if you could see it, but I've been putting some of the stuff up on the screen for you. For people to see.
And so you can, and if you sign up, then, and so this Wednesday at 5 o'clock Mountain Standard Time, I've been doing it for almost 2 years. It's on Eventbrite because the other platforms, they throw me off. But this is amazing. It's called on Eventbrite. It's only $15 for 2 hours. It's nothing. Wow. But I had to do it through Eventbrite because the other platforms won't let you on, and I call it Insider Secrets of the Shift. I do it bi-monthly. So it'll be this Wednesday night and then in 2 weeks. And I spill the beans. I name the names. I give all the information, and even sharing new stuff on the new book I'm writing. And it's called Insider Secrets of the Shift on Eventbrite. And that information comes out in my newsletter. But if you do go to Eventbrite twice a month, Insider Secrets of the Shift, it's only $15. And because of Jay, I also have Patreon, patreon.com/SherryAnchara. So I have a membership. It starts at $15 a month. I have over 50 videos of information on Patreon.
And so this exclusive membership is
patreon.com/SherryAnchara. And it's because of Jay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I have over 50 videos of information that I give. And it starts at $15. I think there's one for 30 and then there's one for 90, which I do a full hour session. It's usually 225. But I love doing that.
Yeah, I absolutely love this.
So I love to share information. So thank you for
Absolutely. I'm just
sharing
going
this.
to the website, showing everybody. So this is definitely where they go to find the blog, your
Yeah,
events.
look at all my blogs. And so I love to write things and share information because that's what I'm here for. And there's insider secrets of the shift.
Yep, there it is. Boom.
Okay,
I love it.
and so I'm so excited. So yeah, it's a $7.50 investment. Whichever, I mean, that's nothing. And I do it every other week because I'm dedicated to assisting people to get out of duality and busting out of the matrix.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I'm gonna sign up for that.
Oh,
Because I definitely want to just learn more. Like that's one of the things is like I think has been the most beneficial piece of advice that was randomly given to me was just like, approach everything with an open mind because there is so much more that we need to learn about what's really going on. And we can't do it when we're shut off to what could be, what is, and
and though it says it's 5 to 6, it's a lie. It usually goes to 7.
that's good to know. So block out for about 2 hours.
Yeah, because it's amazing information. And it's not that I'm not telling people what to do. I don't do that. All I do is share information.
Yeah.
And
And that's the thing too, is because like also if someone's body isn't quite ready for that necessary implementation of that bit of information, I love because you're planting the seeds. You're like you're just holding space for this bit of information. So when they come into the point where they can actually receive it and implement it, it's already there. It's already been planted. And so I love that so much. My dear, I would absolutely love to have you back because I have like so many more directions I want to go with like all the things just about your new book. And I want to wrap up with that though. Where are we going to be able to find your new book? And remind me of the title again.
well, it's going to be it should be launching at the end of January, and it's going to be all over. And it's called "Busting Out of the Matrix to Freedom." Because it was really difficult to put a title taking your head out of your ass. That's that aren't working.
I
Yep,
mean,
that's
it's a pretty accurate description. You're not wrong for thinking that. I'm just saying.
and so it's we when people come here to say we came here for the lessons, I'm going to throw up. Look at the word lesson. Less on, less on, less on. Are you kidding? And that turns into moron, moron, moron. Are you kidding me?
I want more of this.
No. I don't do lessons. I do experiences.
You know what? That's one of the things like I just in my own business and stuff and just, cuz the podcast is an extra thing. It's not my day job and it's literally it's truly about what experience am I delivering to my clients? Even if it doesn't make money in that moment, what are you doing to change? Because the money will come. That's an energy. You can make it more or less. It'll come. It's more about what are you doing with whatever your gifts and talents and experiences, like me with my animals, you with just your amazing intuition on all things, everything, it seems like. But it's just, adding that value, that experience.
I know. And it's like I am so with you. I have 4 rescue kitties. I love animals. It was up to me, I probably have a cattery and a doggery, but I just there's a place in it's only like a mile from me, and she rescues older dogs, like when someone dies in the family. And I always contribute to what they do. At my New Year's Eve meditations, I collect $15 and I send it to them because I love it that she's rescuing senior dogs because they have nowhere to go or the family. I have one kitty that the guy next door 2.5 years ago died and they threw the kitty out.
Oh my gosh.
I know, and it took me over 2 years and now she's living in my healing room.
Wow.
She's not quite there yet with the other kitties, but we're getting. And then I have a kitty in my studio. He's got to be 16, 17 years old, no ears, but outside my studio in the back, I built a screened-in porch. So he's safe and secure and loved and safe. But would I put him with the other cats? No. but but so I love it. But you know what? If you look at animals, they teach us so much.
What do you think the primary reason a dog has an existence? Because they say a dog is a man's best friend. And I firmly believe exactly what you just said. But what do you think is that intention for those relationships? Because I've also noticed something too as I've gotten to be an adult and I've had cats too. I was like, oh, there's a whole different relationship with kitties, but I like it. And so it's different. So I just genuinely curious what your take is.
Well, animals are actually, when we honor life, animals are actually showing us aspects of humanity. And what we've forgotten and lost is humanity. So I believe in actualizing humanity through kindness. So I do deliberate acts of kindness, not random. I do it deliberately and connect to someone. And animals show that. They see unconditional love and duality is bullshit. All you people get over it. Unconditional love is bullshit and duality because there's always conditions. But
Mhm.
when you have unconditional acceptance, and that's what animals show us,
Mhm.
unconditional acceptance, whoever they are. And that's why I love animals of all kinds. I mean,
Yeah.
I go over 100 pounds of birdseed a month. I have every kind of bird, including parrots in my backyard. And I just love it. And they are just, I put blocks out for them. I have quail, I have pigeons, I have all kinds of stuff. And I'm so grateful.
Well, and I am so grateful for you, my dear. Um, Definitely coming back because I could just let's talk to you for hours. But unfortunately, we do have to wrap this up. I am uh, just listening to you talk about like all of those things is just nailing me in the heart in the most beautiful way. Like, just feel like I have like this giant hug. I love it.
I'm sending you a giant heart hug.
Yes. Oh, oh my goodness. I love it, my dear. So, y'all, she heard it herself. She is leading this class. Check out her website here on the screen. Get in all of her free information. Book a schedule or book an appointment with her if she has it on available on her schedule. You will find all things here at her website. Miss Sherry, thank you, thank you, thank you, my dear. I am so grateful for you. We're definitely going to come back for episode 2 and beyond. But until next time, do you have anything to wrap up for today's topics that we talked about?
Yes, I have Sherryisms, and this is my favorite Sherryism. Before I get out of bed every morning, I say, what I say makes my day, and what I say could make or break somebody else's day.
Ooh, that's a mic drop right there. We're going to end it on that, y'all. Sherryisms, get on that level. Y'all, thank you so much, my dear. Y'all have a beautiful day. Until next time.